Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Monotui, coach of the Tampa Bay Luxrays, and today I'm bringing you guys our GBA Season 8 Week 11 match versus John, aka Pokemon, coach of the New Orleans Pelippers. And this is a very important game for the both of us. Whoever wins this game is guaranteed a playoff spot. Basically how it works is if Wolf loses one more game, we both make playoffs. If John wins one more game, he's in playoffs. If I win one more game, I'm in playoffs. So if I win one of my next two games, then I'm guaranteed for playoffs. If he wins one of his next two games, then he is guaranteed for playoffs. So this is a very important game just so that we can relax. Just because whoever wins this game can relax a bit the next week knowing that they are going to be in playoffs. So without further ado, let us just get into our team. As you can see, we have a Snorlax here. It's a relatively similar team that we brought last time, although there are some important differences. Curslax, relatively standard, just standard Curslax, Body Slam, Curse, Sleep, Talk, Rest. Deals with this team very well. He doesn't have a Ghost type, so we'll potentially be able to do a lot to his team. If I get up a couple Curses, nothing will be able to do damage to me outside of potentially like the Diancie if it's Calm Mind again, or maybe even like Hariyama with close combat, but it doesn't want to hard switch in on a Body Slam, which is very nice for me. Then we have Life Orb Weavile, very big threat versus this team. It has low kick for the Incineroar. Icicle Crash does a lot to the Mega Diancie, knockoff for the Tentacruel. The only real check to it on his team is going to be that Hariyama. It's the only thing he happily wants to switch in on it, just because he can take knockoffs and Icicle crashes if it's Thick Fat. Then we have Physically Defensive Calm Mind Slowking with Scald, Psyshock, Calm Mind, and Slack Off with the Waterium Z, just so that I can do a little bit more damage to certain things on his team, like the Tornadus, or potentially beat a Calm Mind potentially do more damage to a Cresselia if he did decide to bring his Cresselia, which obviously he did not. Then we have Physically Defensive Rocky Helmet Palossand, 2 attacks, Toxic and Shore Up. It's going to help me deal with the Garchomp a little bit. It can help me deal with the Diancie potentially, as well as potentially the Hariyama, which is very nice. Then after that, we have a Choice Scarf Keldeo. This is new to the team. I needed something. Even though we won handily against John last time, Mega Diancie could have potentially swept my team, and so we were bringing Scarf Keldeo to kind of check that, as well as potentially check things like the Garchomp as well as the Incineroar. His only real good switch into it is the Tentacruel, and while it is a very good hard stop, as soon as I get rid of that Tentacruel, my Keldeo will be able to just click Scald and Secret Sword against his team and do very, very well. And then we have our Specially Defensive Registeel. Same thing as last time, I need it for the Mega Diancie. It's very helpful versus things like the Tentacruel and the Tornadus, and so it is here to stay for our team today. So without further ado, let us just get into the game. And so we're going to play Music Off. I'm going to lead with my Keldeos, he's going to lead with Tentacruel. Not favorable for me. I'm going to go right out into my Slowking as he's able to set up a layer of T-Spikes, which is very good for him and very not good for me, because T-Spikes hit the majority of my team, hits 4 out of 6 things, and well, actually it hits 6 out of 6 things, or 5 out of 6 things, but bar my Registeel. Obviously I have Rest on Snorlax, so it's not a huge deal. Regenerator on Slowking, but it's still very annoying for my team. Regardless, I do send out my my Slowking, and I'm gonna go for a Calm Mind on the Tentacle as he switches out into his Tornadus, and this is okay for me because I am the Waterium Z variant, like I mentioned earlier. So I'm just gonna hit him with the Psyshock, trying to see, expecting him maybe to be Assault Vest if he would have hard switched it into the Slowking, maybe as a pivot or something like that, but he's actually gonna reveal to be Bulk Up, which is very important because what this means is I can now hit him with the Waterium Z and potentially knock him out depending on what type of item he is running. Unfortunately here he is actually going to be reveal the Resto Chesto on this Tornadus, and so he's going to get back to full health and live the Hydro Vortex. However, thankfully, because Slowking is a beast, we are able to take that +1 Acrobatics no problem. We'll be able to knock out the Tornadus, and we will be able to switch out later on and get Regenerator off onto our Slowking. So now he sends in his Incineroar. And this is a very big problem to my team. Like, my entire roster does not have good switch-ins to Fire plus Dark. So as you're going to see here, I'm going to be kind of forced to switch out into my Keldeo as he hits me with a Choice Banded Darkest Lariat, which does a ton of damage. So at least we know that it's banded. It doesn't really help me because it still wrecks my team, but at least we now know that it is in fact that. I'm going to go out into my Registeel expecting his Tentacruel to want to come out, which is very nice for me because I can now get my rocks up, as that is exactly what I decide to do. And now I'm expecting him to either go for like a sub, a Swords Dance, or go for something like Stealth Rocks. I didn't expect him to go right for Earthquake. He very well could have, because I do not have a Flying type on this team, and I don't have a Ground Resist on this team currently, but or on this team that I brought against him. But again, I expected him to go for something along the lines of Stealth Rock or T-Spike, and even if he did go for an Earthquake, I would have been able to live it, because I am at full health, and I would have at least been able to get off a lot of damage onto him with the Ice Punch. As you can see, I do go for the Ice Punch. We get a crit. He's still going to live because Registeel is very, very weak and Garchomp is very bulky, but it is at least kind of nice for me. And now what I can do is just go out into my Palossand, hopefully be able to take 2 hits of whatever he wants to go for. As you can see, the Earthquake actually doesn't do very much, so if he is, if he's not Z on this Garchomp, I will be able to live the next hit. However, of course, he is running that Z move, and he's going to just knock me out with the Devastating Drake, no problem, and Palossand's going to go down. Not a huge deal, because I do still have my Slowking in order to deal with the Hariyama, and Palossand was mostly just there for this thing. Just because Slowking was a little bit more valuable, I'd rather lose my Palossand than my Slowking. But regardless, here I can go out into my Keldeo and just click Secret Sword here in order to potentially knock him out and do some damage to the Tentacruel. He's running mostly Spadef on his Tentacruel, looks like, or some sort of speedy variant, because that does 30%, which is very nice for me. And I do have a very good switch into this, being my Slowking, so I will go right out into that, as he does go for the knockoff, which is perfectly fine, because I do still have I had the Z-Crystal on this, so knockoff is not that big a deal. And now what I'm going to do is click Scald, just in case he decides to make an aggressive switch out into an Incineroar. Scald would have been able to knock him out after Stealth Rocks, and Scald was my best play overall, because there's no way he's staying in with Tentacruel. He makes the smarter play and just sacking off his Garchomp. I wasn't sure if he would have, just because, again, it can come in versus things like Slowking or Registeel, even my Snorlax, and just click Earthquake for free, because I don't have an Earthquake switching, but we're able to get rid of the Garchomp early, which is very, very nice. My Slowking's getting low, but I do have Regenerator, which I can take advantage of by just switching out. And now, expecting him to go for the Darkest Lariat, I'm going to go out into my Registeel, potentially stacking it, but as you can see here, he actually opts to go for U-Turn. I'm not sure why he went for U-Turn over Darkest Lariat, because I did not have a switch in whatsoever anymore, because Keldeo was getting low, but regardless, that's the play he decided to make. And now we are in versus this Tentacruel, which knocks me off, gets rid of my leftovers, but what I can do is just slowly whittle this thing down with Seismic Toss so that my Keldeo can run a train on his team, because at this point, once I get rid of this Tentacruel, he will not have a switch into Keldeo whatsoever. After this next Seismic Toss, he is in range of Secret Sword from Keldeo, which is very nice. At no point is he going for Rapid Spin, so it kind of tells me he doesn't have it, or for whatever reason he just doesn't want to go for it. Either of which is fine with me. I'm just going to be able to knock out this Tentacruel, and we are going to go up 5-3 in the game. Although it's not over, because Diancie is still a very big threat to me, and this freaking Incineroar is a huge threat to me. Like, as you can see, I still do not have a switch in. He still has T-Spikes up on my side of the field. A lot of different things are weakened. My Snorlax is not going to be very helpful, because he has abandoned this thing and Fighting type over here. But regardless, I'm just going to stack off my my Registeel here to the Banded Darkest Lariat, and then what I can do is go out into my Weavile and go for the Low Kick, which actually should be able to do a ton of damage to whatever wants to come in, bar the Diancie. But as you're going to see here, I'm going to go for the Life Orb Low Kick onto this Hariyama, and it's going to do nothing, because he is a Rocky Helmet physically defensive Hariyama made specifically to counter my Weavile, which was very smart on his part. Low Kick would have done a lot more, obviously, if he were not physically defensive, but that's going to take, that's it. Obviously it didn't do too much. Regardless, I'm actually going to stay in with my Weavile and click Low Kick again, because if I'm able to get the damage off that I need to, which I do here, as you can see, I now just win the game by clicking Scald with my Scarf Keldeo. I want to save it for one more turn in case he does have Bullet Punch and he goes for it here so that I die to Poison, so I'm going to save. I'm going to not go out into my Keldeo quite yet. Rather, I'm just going to go out into my Slowking, get rid of the Hariyama with Scald, and now I should be able to just win the game with my Scarf Keldeo, just clicking Scald repeatedly. As you can see, he's going to go out into his Diancie, and he is going to make the very smart play of not Mega Evolving and going for Calm Mind so that he can take the hit very easily. Again, very smart play on his part, and now I am basically forced into a situation where I have to stack my Slowking, but again, that's fine. No matter what, even if he stays in regular form, Scald will be able to knock out the Diancie, and it will be able to knock out the Incineroar. But he unfortunately is going to reveal the Protect on the Diancie, and that is going to steal the game for me, because he's going to go for Protect. He's also going to get a double Protect, just fuck me. And then we're not going to be able to knock him out with Scald the second time, because, you know, obviously he got the double Protect, and I died to 2 turns of Poison. And then we're going to go out into our Snorlax, and unfortunately Snorlax is not going to be able to 1v1 this Diancie. He's going to Mega Evolve just so he can do more damage. Hits me with that Moonblast, it does a ton of damage, and we are unable to do anything with Body Slam here. I would have had to Parahax him like 7 turns in a row, and that's just not going to happen. So, very good game to John. Very, very well played. He prepped fantastically. The physically defensive Hariyama was perfect. The protect on Diancie was huge. I didn't expect protect on it. Obviously, that's a common thing prior to Gen 7 because Megas didn't used to not get their speed right away. So you'd want the protect so that you can guaranteed go up to your 110 speed from 50. But unfortunately, he decided that he did not need other coverage on his Diancie. Like, he just wanted Calm Mind. He wanted Calm Mind, Moonblast, and Earth Power, and he felt like he didn't need any other coverage from me. So he decided to run Protect in order to synergize with the Hazard Stack and the T-Spike. So very smartly prepped on his end. He is guaranteed for playoffs. We still have the advantage when it comes to playoffs right now because all we have to do is win and we're in. If Wolf has to win by a certain amount and I have to lose by a certain amount in order for Wolf to make playoffs. However, we have to take next match versus Tom very seriously because A, Tom destroyed me last time, and if I get destroyed in a similar manner, then that leaves the spot open for Wolf to not have to win as big. And again, like, I need to win in order to determine playoffs. Like, I don't want to have to rely on him losing. I'd rather rely on me actually being able to overcome and win the game to secure playoffs. But thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Check out John in the description below, and have a good day, everyone.